Welcome once again to the Spincast Cycling Show. Brian Kellison, Lee Zavries, Brian White. All right, Leela, tell us about the XP for Zwift. No more intros. That's it. That's the intro, everybody. We're going to talk about a ton of stuff.
Can people hear us now, though?
Yeah, I can hear it. Once we went live, I heard it.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Stupid advanced audio settings. So anyways, December. Oh, Scott's saying nope, no audio.
I got it.
Does he have his thing muted?
Okay, Texas hears. We're good. Right, Texas, that's all that matters as long as he can hear.
If he can hear,
December.
We're good. December 2023, everyone.
We got 100 levels. And they made it.
Give us more. So we were at 50 for 35 years. Then we were at 60 for 2 years.
So then they moved it to a 100.
Yeah. Maximum. This is maximum levels.
Yes. And so they made it super easy. They compressed the levels. You now needed 591,000 XP to hit level 100. So anyone that was basically level 50 and up got compressed, quicker, accelerated leveling system. You know, Brian had 1.3 million XP. He only needed 591 to hit 100. So he's accelerated right to 100. He's still not 100, but he's accelerated. So I don't know if people complained or what went on. Obviously, people complained. Zwift is now backtracking. They're going.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in really quick. Did anyone ask? We all asked. I believe we all asked for like 100 or something, like more levels.
Right? Levels, yeah.
But did anyone say, "Hey, we want faster track to the new levels"?
I don't know. Like, we really don't know. Maybe.
Like, hey, everyone wants new levels. I get that. That's kind of what video games do, is like, hey, how do you gain levels? But if you're like on a sort of like, hey, just we want more levels, but we like the system that we're at, why would Zwift do this? And then they did this, and now they're going back and backtracking. Yeah. That's what you're saying. Got it. Okay.
Well, it screwed it all up anyways, because it made it pointless, because people like Marble had 1.3 million XP and you needed 591 to be at level 100. So it's like you end up having people that are at 100 who have ridden a third the amount Brian's ridden. So are they the same? Like, it's just
it's a no-win thing. It's a no-win situation, right? Sorry, Brian, go ahead. You go, and then I'll have my point.
And I'll say this. We have a Lumophile. He's training. He came on kind of like after this. Okay, he was like level 37. They were doing what was it? Tour de Zwift, the double XP and all that crap in the fall. So he's like, I want to get level 40 or whatever it was. So he rode like crazy. Now he trained like crazy. So from the time of
he took advantage of the system that was presented to him as a newer user.
Right. He took advantage and he's using perfect. So now he's going to be level 100 with 27,000 kilometers, and nothing against him. Like he's putting the work in, but like, as far as when you see a level 100 kit, he did it in 6 months compared to the old way. That's like, dude, if you got to level 100, man, you had to have like 200,000 kilometers or whatever the number was going to be.
So my point is, it's a no-win situation, because if you are the developer, if you change the math, you're going to make some people happy and some people mad. But now they're either rethinking what they did, and we have our own opinions, and I think we touched on this before the show about why they would do something like this. So I understand, like, hey, let's do it, but like going back and trying to fix the issue after, was it like 4 months? It's like 4 months. December. Was it December? So 5 months.
Yeah,
December. And it's because it's happening in May. So all of December, right? January, February, March, April. And then in May, they're going to go back to a new thing, or they're going back to the old way?
Well, it's going to be a new structure. Like it says right there, it says you have to have a million XP to get to level 100. Well, even still within that, like my accumulated XP is beyond the level 100. And to me, level 100 means like you put a time, like a massive thing into it. So like that level 100 kit in the old system, whenever it was like 25,000 XP to go up a level or whatever the number was, it was pretty big. That would have been huge for me to get 40 extra levels. Now I was accelerated because they banked it, but even at that, my banked XP was from 750,000 up to, whatever, 1.3 million. I still at the old level would have only got to say level 76 or 77.
Okay.
So, that grind, that intrigues me because like, I want to work for that. Like I'm going to keep riding and get my, maybe I'll ride an extra 5 miles a day to help quicken that process. But now it's just like, it almost means nothing. It's almost like they took that achievement, just gone. It's pointless now. Like I don't give a shit. You're a level 100, big deal. You could have did it in 6 months. You could have did it in 10 years. I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? Like
it does mean nothing, by the way, because I don't care about any of this extra stuff. I only cared about getting the stuff this is the old way to get equipment that made it faster. I guess that was the only reason why I did it. And then after that, I didn't care. Now, question: did we go? I can't remember. Did the level 100 create the new getting to a level the new math? So it was the old math to 60.
Yes.
And then they said, hey, level 100 fast track. On the third from the bottom, it says there's no changes for XP requirements for levels from levels 1 to 27. What does that mean?
Well, it's
like already easy.
Yeah. Like
were they always easy?
Yeah, for science is at level 10 in like less than 300 kilometers.
Well, typically in most leveling systems, every level adds more XP than the previous level.
Yeah.
So they never touched levels 1 through 27, but that's when it started to ramp up. In the old system, you needed something like 1,500 kilometers ridden per level between 50 and 60. So, I mean, that was 15,000 XP or 15,000 kilometers ridden to go from level 50 to level 60. I did like back-to-back 100Ks and got a level and a half by doing like 200 kilometers. I should have had to have done, close to 3,000 kilometers. But I think what most people are annoyed with, everyone was annoyed when they brought this system out. Now people are more annoyed. Well, not everyone. I mean, people who were noobs at it were like, yay.
The established community that had grinded, the people
they
on
were
this
annoyed.
show. Yeah, the two people on this show that care about
I was
XP.
annoyed. Like I was level 57 or something when they came out with level 100. So I didn't even make it to 60 and I was annoyed. I think what I'm seeing on the forums right now, though, is what more people are annoyed about is the flopping back.
Yeah.
What people are saying is, why not just leave the XP how it is now? You changed it already. This is how you get to 100. Then from 100 on, then make it hard-assed. So if you see someone that's like 104, that was hard-assed.
Yeah.
So why did they do this? What's your theory? Oh, go, Brian, and then.
Well, I didn't. After kind of the first few days of keyboard warrior stuff about this, I kind of just gave up. But I think they realized, oh shit, everyone is going to be at level 100 like within a year. You know what I mean? Like that was at level 60. If they continually ride, they're going to be there quick. They're not going to have anything more to work for. So like and the drops are pointless. Who cares about drops? I don't see them adding a actual store for the drops to be useful.
So they didn't plan this in December. They didn't go, hey, they didn't think that. They thought this now? That's what you think?
They had to have. Or I shouldn't say had to have. It just, I don't understand it. I've never seen anywhere clearly stating.
Well, they obviously wanted to improve people's retention. And so, hey, when you're new after getting into Zwift after the first of the year or whatever it is, and you're grinding and not earning it, because people like to get things easily. They like shortcuts. The majority of people like shortcuts. If they can get there easily, they'll do it. Now they're second guessing, like, oops, we pissed off the people that were the established community. We're making it so that all these people are going to be level 100s in the middle of the summer if they keep grinding.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to pick up the game anymore because there's no
So
that little incentive of, hey, I'm going to get some socks. They're not going to do that. But the XP is a big thing. Like, hey, I can go to next level. I'm trying to get to level 100. Blah blah blah.
I'd like to see the math, because I think what would happen is the percentage of people that were actually at level 60 was probably this big. And so those few people were complaining, which was like probably 2% of the user base was going, we need more levels. And exactly what sort of both of you guys have said, they are going to have this much amount of people at level 100 by the end of the year.
And they're going to be like, what the heck?
You're going to have 50% of the people that are on Zwift going, we need more levels. And I think it took them that long to come up with rewards for levels, to even program levels, to, to do all that. So what's going to happen is, I think that's exactly what you just said, is they went, oh shit, we're going to have half of the user base maxed out by the end of the year. We need to backtrack, because now everyone's going to be complaining, like, where's more levels? Where's more levels?
Well, I think too, what it took Tippy,
I agree with that,
like 3 weeks, 2.5 to 3 weeks to get level 100. I know there was a few other guys, but Tippy was the one that was just unreal with the climb portal and the short little crit course with the banners, So in 3 weeks, people, if they got to level 100. I mean, that's kind of, that just, Teppy did the work, and Teppy's done some absolute crazy things, but I think you guys are saying,
I think this is a plan for them to skew the April numbers of active users, because everyone's going to cram all this last minute XP of the old system to try to get it, because it's going to make it even harder to get the higher levels. And so if this is like the tour of Watopia, but it's going to skew their numbers. So they'll be like, oh, April had great numbers. And then May is just going to, May, June, July is all going to tip off.
And by them doing the Zwift spin thing, I mean, it's insane how many people are doing this. Like, I mean, I'm doing it.
It's a video game.
Yeah. And those,
as much as people want to call it a training app, it's a video game.
No. The keyboard warriors that defend Zwift on the Zwift forums, it's just a training platform. Like we don't need levels. We don't need stuff. It's just a training platform. That's all it is. It's not a game.
We don't need levels.
And I'll put it this way: this guy that I was, he runs on Zwift. He doesn't even contribute money. It's free, and he's
Brian has his own little side arguments that we don't know about. Like, the context is so vague, but he's like,
well, I don't want to.
We get screen. Just letting in the audience know that we get little screenshots of his little side conversations. They're very entertaining for somebody who just like I think I was, maybe it was Casey's stream. Like I was enjoying his frustration. Like, I think he's frustrated with it because I asked him how how he thought of the new XPs, and he's like, oh, I hate it. And he's like totally committed to Zwift because it's the whole virtual shifting. He has all the stuff that he needs. He's in the Zwift ecosystem a lot more now. For somebody that rides a lot of things, he's just like, I like Zwift right now. It's doing the things, but he is someone who's very frustrated with it.
You know what? For me, the main frustration for me is just from a professionalism standpoint, it looks bad on Zwift. And what I'm trying to, like, when I'm on the forums posting things, I'm trying to convey that the average Zwift user should be expecting more from Zwift. They should be demanding more. We pay a monthly fee. And when they come out with this weird flip-flopping, you just go, like, we already know, or we already feel that they don't know what they're doing. But when they do this, you're going, yep, they sure don't know what they're doing. But then the people are just like, oh, it's okay. It's just Zwift. I'm like, no, Zwift as of September will have been out for 10 years. And they're just doing this kind of stuff in year 9.5. Like, this is horrible. for a game and a bunch of developers and for a company to be doing this 9.5 years after the beta would release. Like, people should be outraged more than they are. And that's what annoys me on the forums is everyone's just like, good job, Zwift. Because, update 1.62 broke my steering.
Yeah,
Did update
Zwift
1.62 have anything to do with steering?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't. How did it break steering?
Yeah, if for anyone that's been in France with steering, you can only use 2/3 of the road. And then when you steer all the way to the left, your dude comes back to the center, which is almost clear to the right. It's like a reduced road, and it auto steers to the center now.
How do you have steering, Z? You're in Canada.
Because I'm awesome. Because I paid a massive amount of premium with third-party shippers to get
Vandalay Industries for the importing exporting to Canada.
Pretty much. Yeah. And now the problem is like, what happens if my Zwift plays break? Can I warranty them? I don't know, because they'll be like, "How did you get these?"
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're the original purchaser. Yeah, you should be the original purchaser.
I am the original purchaser.
Yeah.
I just sent it to a friend, and that friend sent it to me.
There you go. All
but
right.
Yes,
go ahead.
Steering kind of broke. And it seems like every update Zwift does breaks something that had nothing to do with the actual update.
But you got virtual goggles or virtual something.
What's wrong with the trikes, man? That's fun. That's fun. It's entertaining. Brings back childhood memories of, going 700 miles an hour down some.
I don't think any of that stuff's fun. I know people enjoy it, but I don't. I'm Mr. Party Pooper.
Yeah, I just didn't like the goggles. It reminded me of, I don't know. It didn't appeal to me.
Speaking of XP though, so when you get to level 100, you can now give people ride-ons, and anyone that you ride on will get +2 XP. So what happens when...
Hold on a second. I have a question. If you are not wearing the confetti socks, do you still get to do that?
No, I think you have to have the confetti socks. So what happens?
So you get to level 100 and you don't want to use the thing that you get for being level 100, and you don't get you don't just be a level 100 confetti.
Well, it's like the flame socks. If you don't wear the flame socks, you don't get to flame the road.
Right.
But what's going to happen is this is another issue, because say you're in 7 months from now, you're a noob Zwifter and you're level 100. You join a ride with 1,000 level 100ers. They're going to ride you on, and you're going to get 30 levels in one ride.
Well, that happens when you do Diablo. You go into a thing with somebody who's very high level. They can kill all the stuff, and you get really good items.
You're gaming the system, you're being dragged through a dungeon that you shouldn't be in by a high level.
I've had that happen. Yeah.
So you're gonna have.
I don't like you have to wear the socks to do the confetti thing. That's kind of lame.
I said, the server's totally going to crash because there's just going to be confetti, hundreds of people just confettiing the crap out of people.
The amount of Coco riders this coming winter, it's just going to be nonstop confetti. You're going to gain so many. I already get, if you do a 100K ride, it's at least in the past few that I've done with Coco, which has, 6 months ago, but I got 110 ride-ons, 103. So right there, there's a few extra 100 XP points. If some people literally, that's all they do is ride with those pace partners. And Coco is the most popular by far. You'll see, several hundred riding with her. Yeah, that's hilarious. And then for what? To get to level 100 and be capped quicker?
All right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be more levels by then.
So going into the next thing we want to talk about, because I've been writing Indie Velo, but I do want to ask in this update, this one tonight or whenever it came out, is there anything about physics or pack dynamics or improvements of gameplay? Or is it just cosmetics?
I didn't see it. No.
So they added missing workout localization to the HUD. They improved the look of tiles on the edges of the home screen. so this update got rid of, so before when you were on a streak, you used to get bonus XP twice a week for the first 2 rides. They've now
nothing in this
reduced that.
update matters to me. I don't care about any of this.
It's all
It doesn't have anything
cosmetic
to do with
and like
making the game better. All right. That's why I'm writing Indie Velo. Segue. Congratulations, Zwift. Good. I'm glad that you're helping, reinforce your community. I like Indie Velo a lot more now. I get to race bots. I don't have to worry about confetti socks and all the other stuff. There's a couple things that I want from Indie Velo. I don't know if you guys have ridden in Indie Velo, which I can't stand the name, but it's the name that we have. The cornering and braking system is something that was reminiscent of, RGT throughout the game. I know there's a couple places where you can brake in Zwift. I don't know if it breaks in my Whoosh, but I have been using it and enjoying it. I think there are some things that need to be improved, but it's one person, at least maybe 2, Bjorn but George Gilbert, we're trying to get on record a interview with him. For what he's been doing, pushing out the game the way it is, it's pretty spectacular. Like, dual recording, it reads the battery on your device. It tells you what the connection type is, whether it's, direct connect or Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or not Wi-Fi, but direct connect, Bluetooth or ANT plus. So there's a lot of like pro features, even though people are not, there could be casual riding. Like, I don't think casual riding is going to be picked up quickly by Indie Velo unless people are very disgruntled by Zwift. But the sort of competitive, and the things we've talked about a lot on this show is the competitive versus the casual is night and day. I mean, it's like there's dual recording, there's in-game sort of like algorithms that sort of like kick somebody out if there's so many anomalies. I know, Brian, you have a bad taste in your mouth. You haven't got any. That's probably something that they can work on to go, hey, why did you get kicked out? Like you got kicked out, and it would like automatically say that this could be it. I can't remember even if you got something like that.
I messaged George immediately because I was pissed, and he just said too many repeating values. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
So it's like he gave you like an error code. I think over time you're gonna get more of that. Like you're gonna be like, hey, you're having repeating values, which leads to a bad Bluetooth connection or blah blah blah. Where it's like AI, like the learning the learning models. It's over time, it's going to build more and more, and it's going to get better and smarter. And the AI and the bots hopefully will get better. And because there's sort of like predictability in some of because I joined the Founders Club and it opened up some more conversations and more things, more game features, more insight into it, where you have like there's all these like predictable counterattacks from the bots, where it's like, hey, one bot will go off, then another one will go, and then you bring that back. It automatically does like this sort of like predictable bot action, where that's what the goal is. We don't want to have that. Like RGT's bots were very unpredictable, which is entertaining for somebody who doesn't mind racing against bots. I just want to get a race in. That's sort of my initial thoughts on Indie Velo right now. I really like it. I think it can grow, and I'm kind of embracing it. So
I know the statement from the beginning when I think it was end of January, beginning of February, started riding Indie Velo. It's like, this is this serious racing platform. This is a racing platform. And when it was under 100 people beta testing it, there was about 20 of us, and I was the only dude that just rode it looking for things wrong. You know what I mean? I was like, everyone else here is looking at the racing perspective. I was like, there's going to be people that just try this just to ride it. I'm going to come at it from that perspective, because everyone is focused on racing, which is great, but you're going to have Aunt Bev coming in here wanting to just ride a thing and it's free, or, you know, lower cost than Zwift or something different. And
well, no, I agree with you, but I think it's a different approach. And I think the approach is George and Bjorn, whoever, you know, George is the main person, so I'll just say George.
Yeah.
His vision is get racing rock solid. So like, this is the safest place. This is the place you can come to for the best racing you could possibly get. The casual stuff will come from that. It's not about getting it's for, at least how I see it. I'm enjoying the racing I do in Indy Velo, but now I'm like going to Indy Velo to do my casual stuff. Yeah. And that's the thing, is where you have casual people doing the Zwift stuff because they get XP, they get all this, the blah, 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 the confetti socks and all the other stuff.
Did you find your
only
Easter
race in
eggs?
Indy Velo? What's that?
Did you find your Easter eggs?
I did. I found one of them. It's lame.
One?
It's just an Easter egg on the hill. Like you just climb, you just go around it.
Oh, there's 5. You had to find 5.
I'm not finding any of them. If I run into them, that's fine. No, it's not. That's one of the things.
No, we did that last Easter. Yeah, and there's one still from the beginning. It's, I don't know how many people have noticed it, but he left one in there for like the OG Easter egg hunt people. Okay.
That's great. But in his statement, he said no April Fools. I'm okay with like an Easter egg, actual egg. I get it. But he didn't spend development time on some April Fool's thing that's going to be one day. Yeah. That's where I'm like, hey, the April Fool's stuff is, you know, it's cool, but it's not essential. But I get it because Zwift is casual. But I think Indy Velo this is how I see it. Like I just said, I'm going to do casual stuff in Indy Velo because I don't care about the casual stuff in Zwift as much anymore.
Well, and I definitely think Indy Velo has the people that are there are definitely, I shouldn't say like more dedicated, but they are definitely like have a purpose. Like I'm racing, like the dual recording on it, you know what I mean? Like I already do that. Like I have it, I'm available. So it's definitely a different group of people. And with the events, you've got what, level 2, tier 2, tier 1, and then just anyone can race. Mm-hmm. Tier 1, you have to have a smart trainer, and then tier 2, you have to have dual recording and everything. So like that's built in. Zwift, you know, you have to have a power meter on certain things. You have to have a heart rate monitor. But like,
I think it's sort of a line drawn in the sand where they're like, hey, there's people that come in to competitive races and spoil the party for everyone. So Indy Velo is like, no spoiling. We're going to have lower numbers, but you have to have whatever requirements are necessary for the tier 1, tier 2.
In coming out of the box, I should say riders know that. If you're there, you know that. Whereas Zwift, you know, everyone is so accustomed to like whatever you brung, basically, you know, whatever it is.
Go ahead.
No. So that's the big disconnect. Like, you know, I got a whatever dumb trainer pulled out of the closet.
It's so my analogy is like Zwift is like a club, and they admit everybody, and then they go around and they tell everyone, oh, you have to dress. There's a dress code, because all the other people in the club are like, hey, there's a dress code. How come I'm dressed up? Like I have to wear a collared shirt. I can't wear a ball cap and a thing. You know how you kick people out, or you don't kick. You don't admit people because it's whatever discrimination against people with baseball caps and sneakers. But this is where it's like, no, we don't admit people because there's a competitive side for people, and they want the competitive side to be not spoiled, right? They don't want the bad apples to come in and just do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And so that's a strong line. And I appreciate that, where you have this back and forth with Zwift, where it's like, well, we did the XP, and then all of a sudden, no, well, we're going back. And it's like, no. I like the hard line decision sometimes, whether I agree with it or I don't agree with it. I like this is the decision we've made. We're going with it. That's like RGT with steering. Like I didn't like the steering and how they did the steering, but they were like, we're not going back. Like we're going with this. People think that the adoption was hindered by that. I don't think it was totally hindered by that. I don't think there was a lot of people on RGT anyways, based on what the CEO said. It just made it harder for people to stay on and do casual on RGT because there was no flow.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of
That's
my
the one
whoosh,
thing Zwift has done well, other than my steering is broken, is the steering.
But the steering is good.
They implemented the steering very well. But and that's the other thing is with like Indie Velo, it's tough when you talk about Zwift because they continually make these weird decisions and it takes them forever to implement things. And then you got Indie Velo with like two dudes that are pumping out weekly updates.
Yeah. Indie Velo is like a jet fighter and Zwift is an aircraft carrier. Like it's like you can turn on a dime at Indie Velo, where it's like Zwift, you have to or a big cruise ship where everyone's, hey, we're going to the Bahamas, and everyone's like on the cruise ship, like, oh, cool, Bahamas. And they're like, no, we're going to Niagara Falls now, and you're like, huh? And it's like it has to move like super slow so that everyone doesn't get sick. Otherwise, everyone raises up their hand, going, what's going on?
Talking about the speed of Zwift and development versus Indie Velo. They put out what's coming through winter season in October, November. So at that point, October, November, Zwift is telling you, hey, this is what's coming. So now they are starting to develop that. So in October, November, they can say, hey, we have this coming. And it still takes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get it in game. Like it's just like a snail's pace.
Get ready to get ready.
Yeah.
My favorite thing. Get ready to get ready. And then the thing is there's hey, we're very vocal, like the Zwift forums and hey, we're going to do this stuff. I know we're going to get to your post here, Lee, in just a second. They're willing to talk about stuff, but then they're not willing to talk about other stuff. Like, it's like, can't you fix the closet or the garage? Is that even possible? Like, they won't talk about it or whatever. It's like, you keep giving me all this free stuff, and my little scroll bar keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and I don't want it to shrink because I want to get to the thing I need to get to. And that's where you're like, you're talking about XP, you're talking about confetti socks, you're talking about stuff, but some of the sort of like organizational tools and maybe improving sort of the user experience, those are not even addressed.
Well, and I was talking about this just as even as like the workouts. Like I know I've said it before on stream, or I'm pretty sure I said it on the Spincast and my stream. Like in August, they redid how they did the workout folder, and I had went through every single one of my 250 or so workouts and edited each one so they'd be in a folder in a week. And then they redid it, and I'm on the forums, Facebook, and filed a support ticket. Everyone's like, I don't know, dude. I don't care. That was my response. And just out of like a blind chance, or a month or two ago, I took the folder because I was putting them in Indie Velo, sorting them in the folders. I just dumped it into Zwift folder. See what happens? Boom, there it is. They changed it in the support ticket, and whatever happened to that, they're like, I don't know, you're out of luck. The forums where everyone says all the answers, and then Facebook, no one knew. All you got to do is put your workout in a folder and you can have it sorted. But like just things like that, like they changed it and didn't tell anyone, or no one knows that you can just throw your custom workouts, like a group of them, VO2 or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Throw them in that workout, boom. And Indie Velo, that's there basically from the beginning. And
that's because it's a small community. So you have, it's like a startup, right? It's like you can talk to people, you can in the forums, the Discord, all that stuff. So let's get to Lee's post. Are you on your post still? But Lee brought up a great thing in his vocal opposition to what just occurred. The thing we talked about at the beginning of the show is Lee's a big time gamer, and he used the example from like other developers. So why don't you talk about what you posted and your thoughts behind why you posted this?
Part of the reason that Zwift is in this situation was you still earned XP at the level cap. No other video game in the world you maintain XP. So the problem is, the first problem was when they released level 100, you had people that were level 60 for years and years gaining XP who were getting fast tracked to 100. So not only did they make getting to level 100 easier, they fast tracked a ton of people.
So I have a question. So no other game that you know of banked XP, right?
I went
So
and
like
looked, and no game I've ever
no,
played
no
banks
mainstream
XP.
game. So we're not that Zwift is a mainstream game, but it's a very tight knit community. So it's essentially one of few instead of like a World of Warcraft. It's like a World of Warcraft in the community sense, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
my
you
my
hit 60 and you're done.
yeah.
I
So
mean, you're
my
not done. There's still achievements to do. There's still progress.
Yeah, of course, of course. So there's no like banking of that. But then there was I think you put it in here, the you're just locked. Like you don't bank you,
Oh, yeah.
like once you get level, like in World of Warcraft, when you hit level, what was the first level? Level 60 or whatever it was.
You're done.
You're done.
Yeah, it was 20. Went
did they inform
25.
people that hey, you were done? Or people just knew that they were done? Like what was the communication to the community?
Well, because yeah, I mean, when you on any other game that you play, if they say level 60 is the cap, when you hit level 60, but I mean, most games are still fun and you still play despite being level capped.
There were
But your
other
main,
achievements you can get. Yeah.
yeah, so
Okay.
your main goal isn't to gain XP at that point. You do other things.
Right.
But I'm wondering, like, was it just Zwift's system? Were they not able to turn XP off? Which we don't know, but that's almost what I think has happened was they couldn't turn XP off. So they were like, well, every kilometer you still get 20 XP because we don't know how to stop the accumulation. Or if they did stop it, did it break something else? But
well, they create okay, that's a great point, which I'd never heard before, that they didn't know how to stop it from continually the counter still going. And so they spent time to build some equation to bankroll this continuing clock. It's like the whatever, the nuclear clock, right? It keeps rolling anytime you use it. But when we do introduce new levels, we can't say you're not gaining more. We're going to benefit. We're going to benefit the people that were bankrolling this stuff, and we created a thing where it's going to fast track you. So it created this equation that gave you something for your work of instead of just writing and going, hey, we're not. You hit level 50 when they did 50, and say you're going to bank all this thing. They can't turn it off. You think they can't turn it off, or they just allowed people to bankroll it?
Well, the thing too is I think they couldn't turn it off because you have situations like, so level 100 was 591,000 XP. Marble has 1.3 million XP, yet he's not 100 yet. So it's like they gave him a multiplier so he could earn XP faster. But then that's the problem on the forums is there's people arguing about this, but it's like, well, the moment they came out with 100, Marble should have been level 100 instant. But then that's not a game. That's dumb.
Okay, let's hypothetical here. Let's say World of Warcraft was bankrolling. You hit level 60 or whatever it was. You hit the first level tier and you bankrolled it, right? Can't the developer just go, hey, the clock is still counting? They can't. Can they even deduct XP from people? So why can't they just go, hey, Marble got 1.3 and they just chop off of his headroom, and when we release levels like from level 50 to level 60, you just reset him to a level 60 rider or a level 50 rider?
I know some of the rides that I've lost for various reasons and all that. They're like, nope, you can't. So we can't do anything. You just got to do it again, or that 80 kilometers.
So that
or
disappears. Like you didn't get that XP.
Yep. Yeah. Like, because one time I meant to open Strava on my phone. I opened Zwift, and because two of the same accounts opened up, it blocked both out. So I rode like 85K, did a jersey unlock, finished it. I got the kit in game, and well, that ride, I got the screen shown it, but I didn't get anything else. Like whenever I went, I didn't get XP. I didn't get
Wait a
the
minute.
drops. It all like disappeared because
No, because it's a roll. It's like when you do 1 kilometer, you get XP.
right.
When you end the ride, you've already accumulated XP.
But it
You're
didn't
saying that
save
you didn't.
to the server. It didn't have that end result sending it to the game.
Oh,
Or sending it to
it
the
was local, and then when you finish that ride, that's when it banks rolls it and sends it to your account.
Yeah, you earn it.
No way.
And then that's why you can ride offline. You know, like if I just want to do.
Oh, are you riding offline and you accumulate XP?
Yeah, and then you have to reconnect, and then you get it.
No way.
It counts local, and then it has to send it to the server. So they cannot add anything. They have no ability to add a route badge completed that you lost, kilometers, drops, XP, and they can add a kit to. You know what I mean? Like if you have a log file saying, "Hey, I did this ride, completed it, whatever," they can add it. That's the only thing they can add out of that. But the ride unlock that I did was a one-time only thing, and they actually did grant it to me because I had the live stream and the log file showing what happened. But yeah, if there's anything, if you guys say if you do the Uber Pretzel, you lose internet and you don't realize it, and you hit save, boom, done. Can't do anything about it. Sorry about your luck.
It's only saved locally, and then then when you lock the file and save the file. So if you do Uber Pretzel and delete it, you don't get it.
That's the way it was, unless there's been some change. But yes, that's.
I mean, despite all the issues with racing on a client-side server, that is the one benefit of a client-side server is you can lose internet connection. You can continue the ride, and as long as you wait for connection, then save, it'll still be. If it was server side and you lost connection, it'll just be well, oh well.
Yeah, that's a positive and negative. But I'm just thinking, like, I don't know why it's not pinging. I didn't design the game, but you would think you'd ping it. You'd theoretically ping it every time you sent XP to your account. Like it would, like you did a 100-kilometer ride. You would bank all that XP, whether you lost the jersey or lost the ride or whatever it was. The distance and the XP would be trickled. It would go to your thing, but I guess you have to complete the ride. Is that how it works in World of Warcraft or whatever?
So hard to compare because like a real game is.
So the items you get from World of Warcraft, like you get a legendary item.
Game Masters. Game Masters used to be a funny thing because Game Masters used to role play, and if you lost an item or say you accidentally deleted an item, the Game Master would appear and would role play with you and give you the item back because they could look at your logs and say, yeah, you really did have the item, and whoops, yep, you did delete it.
Yeah, that happens with games like you're paying, like a competitive game where you're like, I play Magic the Gathering. So if you play a game and something happens with the server and you disconnect, they give you like a free entry to the thing that you lost. Like it wasn't your fault that you disconnected. It was just a disconnection. They don't have that modification. They don't have the infrastructure for that. And then they don't have like game writers or whatever, game masters or whatever it is to go, hey, Brian, you did the Uber Pretzel and you didn't get your kit and you don't get your
what was the PRL half? There was some weird route functioning where I would get to about the 3/4 way through the route and it would turn me in a wrong direction. And it took 4 attempts to actually do the route. And it was the exact same thing every time. It would turn the wrong way instead of going up the hill.
Oh, that was Highline. In New York City, Highline. I did that.
I emailed them and I said, look, this has happened 3 times. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You're just gonna have to try again. Like they should have been like, oh crap, here's the route badge because it's clearly you tried this 3 times and you've ridden 4 times the amount that you actually needed to ride. Here it is.
Okay, we got into the weeds there, but I don't know. I think the post that you did is clear and concise about how a game should be doing what it's doing.
I would like to think so. I think that's the problem with posting on Zwift forums, though, is you get a lot of people who either haven't played video games or just love Zwift so much. And I think that's, from a competition standpoint, that's what a lot of the other competitors are going to have to deal with. Because even when I was riding RGT, I had buddies that were like, hey, let's go ride RGT. And they're like, no, riding in Zwift. Like, wouldn't even think to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so you get those guys. But what happens is you do get some of these people who, aren't accustomed playing video games and they just love Zwift with all of their heart. And they hate if you post anything negative about Zwift on the forums, because it's funny when you look through that XP adjustment, the majority of the people were like saying, this is dumb. Like, just leave it how it is, fix it from level 100 on. Just, you already changed it, just leave it. But the people that are defending Zwift, it's like the same 3 people over and over again that are replying to every single, like what Hard Claws, no cap. There should be never ending levels. You just keep gaining XP and you just keep getting more and more levels. It never stops.
Or they cap it like they do in all the other massive multiplayer online games, right? The MOBAs or whatever. It's because you can get to level 60 or whatever it was with the World of Warcraft. I don't know why I keep saying level 60, but 60, and then your number just stops going. Like you get $1 million, or for level 100, you get $1 million. And then when we do a new cap, you start with everyone else.
Well, I think the problem with Zwift is there's not enough to do. Leveling is such a huge, important part of Zwift because really, well, no, for people who play games, that's all that there really is. See, when you level cap in like Diablo, there is still dungeons, raids, playing with other people.
Yeah, but isn't that all?
There's none of that in Zwift. There's none.
Yeah, there is. There's raids every hour.
No, there's raids, but like that's not a raid. That's not a dungeon. That's not fun. But it's like a random race.
I disagree. I think we're hyper focusing on XP because it's such a hot topic right now. I'm with you on there's nothing else to do, and that's why people are so into it. It's the imagination. It's the imagination of other people that they go like, why don't we just do rides? Like do the big spin.
Okay.
No?
Give people a 4th freaking challenge in 10 years.
I think there should be multiple. I think the challenges should be the focus and not the XP levels. Like they should have rotating challenges.
So people are looking for something.
For years, though.
Oh yeah, I think
because that's why there's rebel routes. People make up their own thing. Rebel routes are made up. Right? And that's like what is it? Unbound ground. That was made up.
Zwift forces people to make rebel routes because they don't come up with content fast enough for people to consume.
For me, that's the beauty of Zwift. What I get frustrated with people is people, like you said, people are Zwift apologists. They're so wanting Zwift to hold their hand and do stuff. And it's like, just ride the game and that's why I asked about, are there any physics improvements? Are there any sort of gameplay improvements? Like make the game better. Like I want Indie Velo to make the cornering better. They might say, oh no, this is the way what cornering is because I read the little forum thing. I want the game to be better. I don't want the little trinkets the little flashes and everything outside of what I want to do is ride my bike.
What?
Go. I know I'm going on my little diatribe.
That's fine. I just have it on. This is like just trying to understand what improvements are you looking for within?
I want better physical. I want better global physics for single riders. I want the physics to be better. I want a little bit better momentum. I want braking and slowing in every single corner. I want like as much as you can do. That's what I want.
So in essence, like say
I want to coast in a group ride too. I want better momentum, like when you're in a pack, so you can recover in the back of a pack and not have to pedal the entire time.
Well, okay, so essentially, like whenever you're coming up to it, you're wanting the idea. I'll say the idea, like when you're coming, let's say just the volcano circuit
simulation.
whenever you come up to turn, you have to hit the brakes
No,
on your Zwift
no, no, no,
plays.
no. Not that I have
No?
to hit the brakes. No, because I didn't hit brakes on RGT. I want the game to auto brake me, but I want it to create a situation where I have to sort of understand that I can take power off. I can not pedal as much, and then I can pedal out of the corner instead of just ride through every corner at 80 kilometers an hour. That's what I want. I don't need to hit the brakes. If you want to add that in the Zwift play braking thing, that's cool. But that's what I want from Indy Velo. That's what I want from RGT. That's what I want from that's what I want. I want this sort of like concertina effect. I want to visually see, instead of just this giant swarm of bees go around corners, I wanted to string out, slow down, and kind of do that. That's what I was enjoying with the Indy Velo the last like 2 weeks.
So
yeah, one corner on the race that I do, one corner slows and brakes. I don't think it looks as good. I think it should be visually better. That's what I want.
So I haven't rode Indy Velo since like only rode it and watched it since before my surgery. And your avatar would 100%, if you were overcooking it into the turn, you would slow down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd slow down.
It was detrimental to go fast into a turn because it hindered you. It made you go way slower if you didn't slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what you're looking, like one piece of the puzzle, looking for.
I'm looking for something that's kind of an Indy Velo crafting instead of Zwift crafting. It's like Zwift is Zwift. Like look, here's the thing. I needed people kind of go like, well, you want this, you're like, there's something I want and there's something that Zwift does. Those sometimes don't align. And people ask me, why are you upset? It's like, I'm not upset. I just understand Zwift is not going to give me the thing that I want. They spend a lot of time on April Fool's goggles. They spend a lot of time on fixing the XP and doing all these things, the things that I don't care about. That's why I'm not spending more time in Zwift hoping that will occur.
Well, you would be one of the 40,000 out of 750,000 to 1 million Zwift users.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But I will say, I feel that the current physics are the best they've been.
Correct.
For Zwift.
Yeah. They've been the best for Zwift. Can Zwift get better? Yes, in my opinion. Other people are like, no, it's perfect. Like, don't even touch it. It's Zwift.
I won't say it's perfect, but I will say it is definitely.
Of course it's better. That's why I raced Zwift so much. You know how much time I took off from Zwift? Because I hated Zwift Pack Dynamics 3 were terrible to me. I hated it because I enjoyed RGT so much.
I quit racing last summer or last spring.
I hated having to constantly be on the power. And I found RGT. I enjoyed the physics, and that's why I spent so much time in it. You know, that's why I did it. I liked it. I like riding with the bots. I did a whole video on here's how you move around in a pack. This is before steering. Everyone's like, oh, steering. No, I thought it wasn't even before steering. It wasn't even before the graphic update. I liked the physics of RGT. I wish my Whoosh physics were like that. I wish Indy Velo's physics were a little bit better and less visually speedy. Like, it looks so fast.
Indy Velo does look fast. Yeah.
Indy Velo, I think, is too fast. I think it could be 5 to 10% slower visually, not the physics. Just visually.
Visuals.
Yeah. I think the road screams by you at a pace that's just.
I think just what happens is there's too much blur. The road blur.
Yeah, and maybe it's a better environmental graphic.
And like, I do appreciate what Indy Velo's doing, because I think they're doing the opposite of what every other company does, that comes out with a nice looking, polished looking program, but everything else sucks behind the thing. Where Indy Velo is spending a ton of time making sure everything works perfectly. Yeah. And then they're going to deal with the graphics.
I do like Rolla's physics. Now, Rolla's physics is only singular solo rider physics, but like, that's why I talk about, like, Brian, you're asking me, what do I want from Zwift? I want to feel like I'm going up and down and going up a climb and doing sort of momentum feeling things, even though I'm in a stationary thing but I have a kicker climb and I have a kicker move. So I have some movement. I like that matching a little bit more, and Rolla did that really well when I last rode Rolla, but that's not Zwift. Zwift doesn't do it for me.
Well,
But there's everyone there, and I have to race, and I did the Zwift games, and I did all this stuff because people are there. So that's the benefit of doing Zwift. But what I want is not exactly what everyone else is doing.
well, I was just kind of curious because I know you and Casey. Yeah.
Oh, Casey loves Zwift now because he's got the shifters, he's got everything in there. It's like a community. He can go in there. The thing is, I like riding by myself if the physics are great. I don't need to ride with people.
Well, for me, it's a hard judge when I'm riding solo about the physics because to me, my mind.
You guys ride in Zwift too much because you're always with people.
Well, the physics is like if I'm in a group, how does it react? Like if I'm riding solo, I really don't care. You know what I mean? Like unless I'm in a race and I'm trying to break away and Pack Almighty's chasing me down.
Yeah.
But like when I ride my whoosh, I like it. It's until I get around people when I get the stupid draft thing. I'm trying to draft. I hate it.
The pack physics are terrible. Zwift's pack physics are great, but you can only do the fun stuff in the pack.
Yeah, it's really hard to get out of the pack.
Yeah,
because
we with Mr. First Science as like the draft is king or queen.
The draft is king.
Yeah.
And
why would you leave the best thing in Zwift, which is pack dynamics? Yeah. I don't want pack dynamics improvements. I think pack dynamics is great. Get better solo stuff, get different pack dynamics. I know people will say you're wrong, and that's fine. But I want more stuff like other physics that I've dealt with and used. I think you can integrate that into Zwift to see how it goes. It might break the whole system and piss everyone off, but
it breaks stuff. That's the problem.
Well, it does.
It would break things for sure.
Yeah, I cramp more in Zwift. How about that? That's what I want. Less cramping.
I would really love more cramp videos, like for sure.
I almost did Kiss 100, but then I'm like, oh, it's in Zwift.
Yeah,
almost did it. All right, let's go to the comments and questions. Anyone in there in the chat? Anyone? Or they just like hearing us rant?
I got a
pretty ranty
going to the
episode
Force Science. Yeah, going to Force Science.
Oh yes, this is
the hard clause is
the ongoing. What is this?
My big
Science Friday, Science Sunday with Brian White. Go.
My big stance is bike choice does not matter in Zwift because all the testing is solo, no draft. Just like Kellison said, you're always going to draft on Zwift. So I'm using, my work safety day account in, Force Science. I'll share my screen so we can show. Let's see here.
You're going to put skate or die.
Yeah.
Force Science better be quick. I got to go walk the dog.
Yeah. Hold on here. There, I found it.
There we go.
Okay, this is 2 times.
Full screen, full screen. Don't come on now.
Oh,
there you go. Okay.
All right. So here we go. This is Force Science. Now, for all those new to the Force Science is paired to my kicker through Bluetooth, and my Marblehead is connected.
He's muted himself.
No, it was me. Sorry.
Good.
And here we go. This is sped up 2 times. Now, this is coming in on a climb. I'm on the Zwift Carbon level 3 bike. Force Science is on Zwift Carbon level 3. The only difference is I have disc wheels. He has 32 millimeter wheels, the Zwift. So we're basically, I got the fastest wheels on the basic bike. And here we go. Now granted, it's a climb and I'm doing VO2, but this is the last lap. You guys
got draft right there.
So Force Science with the 32 millimeter wheels is ahead of me now, and then I pass them. And this is sped up 2 times speed. Now here we go. We are walking away from these people, and they are doing effort. You can see they're hitting 4.5 or whatever.
All right.
And so we have 2 basic bikes.
One has bike choice science.
Bike choice science. And I'm finding out, I think the bike choice does not matter. I actually think the wheels are the biggest advantage when you're in a group, because Force Science with his 32 millimeter wheels, he is constantly being pushed to the back, whereas the disc wheels
are leading.
And I'm at the front of the pack.
Okay.
So tomorrow or the next time I ride, whenever it is, we're going to do 32 millimeter on both guys. And
okay, can you do something for me when you do the next science?
Yeah.
Do sauce and show the draft
To show the
percentage.
draft, okay.
Because then it could potentially show how much draft you're getting, and then you can you do draft sauce for both of them?
I don't
I
know.
Try it if not. But the other thing is can you get a percentage of draft savings after a ride from sauce, or is it only real time?
You see, for science, his account is my second soft account, so I'm gonna have to create another account to get it to work, or use my daughter's account.
Okay,
I can use that as
I'm just bringing it up to be like, it'd be cool to see like your draft savings.
So
there's no other way to see like draft,
right?
And when you know like, hey, draft is awesome, and then you can see like who's in the draft, who's getting more draft, or not who's getting more draft, but who's essentially drafting more, because you're just getting an average of like, oh wow, the wheels were in the draft for 45% of the time, and the other one was 65%, or 55%, and the wheels are like, I'm with you on this, but it'd be cool to see the draft savings, because the only thing that's showing you is your avatar in and out.
Yeah,
very cool.
You're right. And I can run sauce definitely for one, but we'll see here. Now here I try to sprint and I can't, but essentially here we go. Like, now granted, I did a lot of work, a lot of effort. Something just fell behind me outside the other room. I did a lot of work. I put a lot of effort in, but like still, I had 3 people behind me, and the basic bikes just walked away from them. Now granted, yes, I was doing VO2, but everyone else in B category had the same opportunity, or they could even followed me, and they didn't. So, and that's like, everyone puts all the time into thinking about it, and I really don't think it makes that much a difference within the Zwift world.
Non-steering, so you weren't trying to steer to Force Sciences, you just let the algorithm rotate you guys.
Now, you're correct. Zwift plays are on. I didn't steer any. It's just however they align. Okay. And you can see right here, for science is in a different lane a lot. And I think that is a big thing. For science, not having steering, he gets out of position. It's like steering enabled users have a different lane than non-steering enabled users. Okay. It's weird because
I just noticed something there. Try to work on this too. Yeah. When I was doing rides without people that were steerers, you could go slower, and the algorithm for the non-steerer would follow the wheel a little bit more. Instead of it's when you slam over. Yeah. I don't know if Lee's saying no, but if you slam over, then it doesn't understand how it can grab onto your wheel. But if you slowly move like a little lane, and they can go lane, then you can guide. People can grab, the algorithm will grab your wheel more likely on a slower move, positioning, than just slamming the corners.
Yeah, I'll see what happens.
That would be another science thing, not included in this sort of thing with the sauce drafting, but like we could do that for science. Is, hey, here's a non-steerer guiding someone. This is what I used to do with RGT. That's the thing I'm interested in. Is like, I could ride non-steering. This is before RGT steering. This was algorithm bots riding with me. So this is you controlling. You're the one controlling both of these things with your devices. Yeah. Can the algorithm be smart enough to follow somebody's wheel versus you overriding it with your own steering? Like, if you could ride with somebody that's non-steering, could you help guide them to cut corners like you could if you go slower?
Casey and I did a race with Force Science a while ago, and whenever we would steer, Force Science would be left out. He wouldn't follow us. Now I'll do more testing with it, like, because we were trying to catch back the group, and we were trying to take the line, and he would be left out. And sometimes he'd lose the draft, sometimes he'd stay in the draft. But McCurry seems like you have a big lane to navigate.
Play with the slow movement.
Yeah,
and see
what it does.
Because that's what I just found that fascinating with RGT. Is like, I could increase the power, and they grab onto my wheel.
Yeah.
From a non-steered lane, and I would be like, okay, cool, and then I could rotate behind them. You can kind of do that. It doesn't really happen because there's no bots in Zwift.
Yeah.
But if you have a non-steerer person and you could kind of guide them, that's would be the cool test.
So, like I showed Scott the team time trials with all 6 or 8 or however many
I was watching
people
that.
steering.
I remember that, yeah.
Okay. That is a big difference. I'm not sure what I'll stop sharing here.
That's another science thing, yeah.
Yeah. So the steering is a definite advantage because team time trials, and I'll get some videos of that.
Is it steering or is it being in a straight line drafting?
Well, it's like the steering condenses the group you're in, because the non-steering thing, you get people like, different lanes stretched out. And then the steering enabled TTTs, we're together.
Yeah. So you need to do one with Casey where everyone's steering and everyone has sauce. And then you do another team time trial where there's no steering, and you see how, if you can kind of replicate that.
I won't be able to do a TT this week because I'm on midnight, and
maybe maybe just do like maybe just the 4 of us. We get Casey, you, Lee, and myself, and we do it with 4 science, and we do just a same course, same everything. Everyone's wearing the same stuff. Everyone's got the same thing, and we do one with steering, one without steering.
I was going to test like the one Tempest Fugit with no draft, the wheel difference. See what you know what I mean on the bikes versus the wheels too. So yeah, we could do. There's still some fun stuff we could do with it for sure.
Right on.
Just because it don't really matter. Like in the end, it really don't matter because you're going to race whatever. I just don't think all the big hoopla about the bike choice matters. And I'm kind of finding out.
That's great. That's a great bold statement where you're like,
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I did my own half-ass testing.
Yeah. Zavaris's atomic bike. You tell them the numbers because I can't remember exactly.
So I did 2 back-to-back 100Ks, one each weekend, not back-to-back. I rode the exact same ERG workout for each 100K, a 3-hour ERG workout where all it did was go up, down, the exact same intervals over and over again. The first weekend I rode the atomic bike, which apparently is one of the slowest bikes in the game. I had a lot of draft. There was a lot of people on Tempest, so there was draft. The next weekend, I rode the Venge with disc. I could not beat my 90-day PR on the atomic bike, like on the Venge. So in 3
atomic bike had a
years of riding, the atomic bike was faster by like 30 seconds, and I couldn't get within 30 seconds of the atomic bike because there was less people the following weekend. That's the only difference. The exact same ERG workout.
Well, the draft is different.
The draft.
That's the only thing. That's the only.
Yeah, but that's not variable wasn't the same for both. Like you're just like, oh, there's more draft. So if you could control, no, I'm with you on the bike choice doesn't matter. That's why I race them on a Cannondale. Like I ride Cannondale all the time.
On the Liv too. You had to live for a while.
I won races on the Liv bike, which is a woman's bike.
But that's literally the only variable was the amount of people and the amount of draft.
Yeah, I know.
So the fact that the atomic bike with draft was 30 seconds faster than the Venge with a little bit less draft. Like,
play the music. We're not playing the music because we're going to finish up. This is the final thought I got to get at her. But the thing is
going to be
no. It's just another thing to distract you from them not doing development that we really need.
Yes.
That's all it is. Let's talk about the bike thing. Let's talk about the wheels. Let's talk about this. Let's XP and drops and all. Brian asked me the great question. Hey, Brian, what do you want? I want better physics. They just don't happen. Pack dynamics happen. And everyone thinks, oh, pack dynamics, great physics. No. That's not global physics. I want braking. I want to slow down on corners.
Or maybe the atomic bike is actually fast.
Maybe it does braking in every corner and I don't have it because I didn't do the stupid big spin. Another thing that didn't have me talking about stuff. Oh my God, you missed out on the atomic bike. If the atomic bike did braking in every corner, I'd be on the atomic bike because I'd want to learn how to do it.
I only wanted it because it's the ugliest bike I've ever seen in my life. So I'm
If I
going to
could
ride it
organize my
forever.
thing and the progress bar or the little scroll wheel bar didn't shrink, so I couldn't even grab it with my mouse, I would get it. But I want to not have that. I want to be able to just throw things away.
I love it's a retro bike with disc brakes.
All right, guys.
It cracks me up.
The music is playing, even though we don't have
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, we'll see ya.